Facebook co-founder and CEO, Mark Zuckerberg was invited by Senator Orrin Hatch to speak at BYU.
The high-tech task force for the Republicans back there in the United States Senate, and I invited Mark to come back and speak to our senators who are on that task force. And he came and just gave a tremendous lecture and brought us all up to speed to a degree on Facebook. It was a very, very good thing, and he did a very good job. But that's when I asked him, I said, how about coming out to Utah? And why don't you speak to some of our young people out there, all of whom love what you're doing? And he said yes.
This is the first time Zuckerberg has ever done a speech or a forum at a university. Senator Hatch asked Zuckerberg questions submitted through BYU's Facebook page. Most of the information was generic, but had a positive message.
And there's actually more than 1 million people around the world building apps. And there's one company here based in Provo, Family Link, that has this application, We're Related, that has more than 1 million users, right? So you can build really meaningful things no matter where you are. You know, any city, any country in the world. I think there are some good things about Silicon Valley, but you definitely don't have to be there.
The most surprising topics he spoke on were what makes a company successful.
One of the things that I'm really proud of is that we're able to serve so many people. I mean, it's more than 500 million people now, 500 million, but the company only has around 2,000 people. And if you think about that, that's kind of staggering. And how do you do that? Right, I think the answer to that question is you make sure that every person that you add to your company is really great. And I think that there are some companies that get built with that culture in mind and that get started by good people. And when you see those, I think you can tell that those are going to succeed even if it's a really crowded space or if it's an industry that a lot of other companies are competing in.
What Congress's role in the tech startup landscape is.
How the government sees the evolution of the internet and the evolution of startups. So it's always great whenever I get the chance to speak with you to hear your opinion on what do you think Congress and our government should be doing to make it so that budding entrepreneurs can do what they do?
Well, I think the best thing Congress can do is keep out of the way.
And how, especially in the current geopolitical climate, he sees Facebook as a tool for peace.
There's some pretty cool, meaningful things that we see. One of our engineers, for fun, put together this site, peace.facebook.com. And what it does is it maps out the friendship connections that are being created on a day-to-day basis between countries and regions that historically have had very tense relationships, right? So between Israel and other countries in the Middle East. Between other countries, that's just like an example, between other countries that historically have had pretty tough relationships. And it's pretty meaningful when you see the number of connections that are forming. It really is it's a symbol, and in practice, it is like this empathy developing in the world between like people who otherwise may have not had an ability to connect. And I just have to think that over the long term, that's going to create more understanding between countries, more reasonable policies, more empathy, and just a greater understanding of how we are all connected. Because we are, I just don't think we fully understand it yet.
He also clarified how targeted ads work on the service.
We develop all the technology in a way that is very sensitive to people's information. So there are these rumors that go around that we sell information or advertisers get access to your information, and there's nothing like that, right? I mean, we never sell any information because people's trust is so important to us. Right? And if people thought that we were going to sell their information, then they wouldn't want to share stuff on Facebook. So it would be crazy for us to do that. Similarly, there's there I think is sometimes a misunderstanding that because an advertiser, let's say you're a band and you're going to have a concert in a local city and you want to advertise to people who like similar bands. I think some people have this confusion that that advertiser gets access to the people's information, but that's not how it works at all. I mean, people just put in what type of people they want to target. Okay, I like people who, or I want to reach people who like rock music or whatever the specific zone is, and then Facebook does the targeting, right? So no information is ever sold. No information ever goes to advertisers. At a minimum, the ads keep Facebook free. On good days, we hope that they are creating valuable content, and because We see that a lot of people, use the ads on Facebook to find movies to go to and find things like concerts to go to that I think people actually get a lot of value out of them too. Maybe it isn't the primary reason that you come to Facebook. Obviously, you're trying to stay connected with friends and family, but we really think that over time they're going to become a really good part of the experience too.
That's great. Well, we're at the end of the program. Wait just a second. Wait.